Well, hello guys, welcome back to the Versus 4 save. This is very exciting. We have gone into Season 2 and this is the recap of the first episode of Season 2 that you'll find across all 4 remaining channels. So if you're not sure what this save is all about, originally in Season 1 we had 8 Football Manager YouTube creators who were all going up against each other. I put those guys into 2 groups. We all managed the same club, Juventus, and essentially we tried to get the most points in the league that we could with the old lady, or Juventus. So the top 2 creators from each of those groups then progressed into a second season. So we've gone through the transfer window and we have all now played we have all now played game 1 of season 2, and hopefully you guys will have had a chance to watch some of those videos. If not, and you fancy watching them, go away now and then come back and I'll recap exactly what has gone on. So we're thinking about what transfers have happened, have people changed how they're playing, what were their results in season 1, and what do you guys think? Who do you guys think is going to be progressing? So just to clarify, the 4 creators who have made it through this far, it's myself, Old Lady Plays, Football Manager Maniac and Avoiding Relegation. Unfortunately, the 4 who fell by the wayside gallantly, it was Bobby G Gaming, That Trucking Football Manager, Chasing Lamely, and United City FM. So and United City FM, we'll talk about this in a second. He was probably considered the most unlucky of the lot, really, because he actually had more points than Old Lady Plays. He just wasn't in her division, so he got knocked out of Group B, unfortunately. Right then, guys, let's see what you guys are thinking about Season 2 and who is going to win this dang thing. So all these comments come from the previous recap video, and you guys have been fantastic, and you put what you reckon. Many of you have put what you reckon is going to win. It looks like there's a clear winner, and we'll get to that. So first up, FM20, who, for those who didn't watch the last episode, did do the Versus challenge the first season. Very creditable number of points. I think it was 93 points, which would have put him in 6th, I think, or maybe it was 7th, I think. So it was very, very good. He's saying that he can see any of us winning it, which is, very magnanimous of him, and very sitting on the fancy of him. But he makes the good point about finances, and I think that is going to be critical, how we managed to get some money in the club and how we sort of move that around. We'll see how people have done with that. I think everyone's been a bit busy in the transfer window, and some interesting things to talk about. Avoiding relegation makes the point that Season 2 is going to be different from Season 1. He's predicting no sackings, everything going to be quite close, and everyone's going to finish in the top 3, which is interesting. So I think he's thinking he's going to be super close. I think what was very interesting, Gary Turpey, we'll see there, he made some interesting comments about the saves that he's seen and what he's seen Juve doing. So he's saying in Season 1 it's gone really well, but in Season 2 they've kind of fallen apart, and that's because of the age of the club, and we're all having to have done something about that. So he's predicting Avoiding Relegation to win Season 2, and the table will finish like this: Old Lady Plays in 2nd, myself in 3rd, and Football Manager Maniac in 4th. To be fair, I'd take finishing not bottom of this group. I think finishing in the top 3 would be awesome. I'm not expecting huge amounts. Bobby G, thanks. He's thanking us for having him on. Well, thank you for coming on, mate. Always a pleasure to have the great Bobby G involved in anything you're doing. Zilla Blitz, everyone was in beast mode in that first season. It was utterly mad. Yeah, any mistake was pretty critical. You drop some points, it meant something. So it's been hard, and it'll be really interesting to see if the points tally is similar this season or not. I mean, it'd be interesting to know what you guys think the points tallies are going to be, what the winning points tally will be. That's your challenge in this next recap video, or for comments for this recap video. What is the winning points tally going to be? And we'll see at the end whether anyone has actually got anywhere near that. Acacio Martins, he's sort of saying that, yeah, it'd be interesting to see those kind of performances with a smaller kit. It would be very interesting, but I think more or less impossible. He goes on to put his suggestions as to how things are going to finish, and that suggestion is Old Lady Plays wins by goal difference. So avoiding relegation, Old Lady Plays coming out as the early favourites. Myself in third and Football Manager Maniac in fourth. He's gone from the early season 1 favourites. I mean, he did get through and got through comfortably to appearing fourth now in the table here, which is interesting. That Truck in Football Manager is again going for avoiding relegation. And he was pleased not to finish last, which I think, yeah, it's always good. Old Lady Plays thinks she'll end up last. She's not going to end up last. We all know that. And avoiding relegation to win it. So that is interesting. Avoiding relegation is clocking up the victory counts. Football Manager Maniac is suggesting it's going to be between avoiding relegation and Old Lady Plays. But he's ready to spoil that party. I mean, I think Football Manager Maniac could well do it. He showed, I mean, some of the signings he made, and maybe people have forgotten about this, he made an awful lot of signings in those first season. A lot of them were fairly younger players. So he's already reduced the age of the squad quite a bit. They'll all have bedded in. So it'll be interesting to see what he's done in this transfer window, whether he's managed to do that still. As I record this episode, I haven't seen any of the videos. I'm literally doing it at 7 o'clock on Sunday, so I've not seen anything. Obviously, the later parts in this video I will have recorded afterwards. Aussie Villain, he's got his predictions, and again, it's avoiding relegation who comes up on top, and he's suggesting United City FM has been very harshly dealt with, but it's all about the groups, and it's all fair in Love and Robot Wars, if that makes any sense to anyone. Very niche reference. Right, and finally, of course we'll leave the very last comment to United City FM, who was so unfortunately fell out of the tournament. And yes, he's taking up his case with the Court of Arbitration for Sport to get reinstated. Unfortunately, they did throw his case out. They said, "What you doing, mate? What you doing? You're out. Old Lady Plays. She's through. That's what's happening." And he's suggesting I might win it, which he does make the point. He's only doing it to get on the viewers' comments, but everyone gets on the viewers' comments, so he's going to get that anyway. But I've given him the top place, the last spot, the final word, as you say. So, but he's basically saying he thinks anyone and everyone can do it, which pretty much. I think, I'm not sure about myself, and we'll get into why that is later in the video, but we will find out. Acacio Martins there's rioting and all sorts going on, with avoiding relegation being knocked out, which I could smell the flames from my house, and I'm in Devon, remotely managing Juventus. We should say that United City FM doesn't condone that sort of behaviour, but he's enjoying watching. He's going to enjoy watching the season 2 on his newly acquired 45-inch television that he's now got in his living room. So that was what you guys thought, and we're now going to go and see what people have done in the transfer market, and we'll see what people have done in their first game of the season. See you in a second. Okay, so let's go on to see what people have done tactically, whether they've changed things around a bit, or and also what they've done in terms of their transfers. And we'll start with the favourite, I think, avoiding relegation, and have a look at what he has done in the tactics business. Of all of us, I think he has made the biggest tweaks. I mean, I think nobody has made giant changes to their tactics. Avoiding relegation has gone to this tactic, which is a small difference from what it was before, which is essentially a 4-2-3-1 tactic. But the difference here is that you've got Pjanic playing in that sort of defensive line playmaker role, playing those balls out that he does so well to the attacking prong just behind Higuain, who seems to be doing a really good job for avoiding relegation. In terms of transfers in, well, one of the big issues was that Buffon is 41 years old. As you can see, Buffon has left the club on a free transfer, and avoiding relegation has replaced Buffon very, very well. So he's bought in Donnarumma from is it Milan or AC? It's either Milan or Inter, I can't remember which, but a very, very good quality goalkeeper, and young, and you're going to think that he's going to do well. I mean, Szczesny is a very good goalkeeper as well, so that's something to keep in the back of your mind. He's also bought in on the right side Zappacosta for £30 million. That seems it's a reasonable sign, but you've got Danilo, you've got Cuadrado who can play there, so that's even more cover there. I don't know how many games Zappacosta's going to get in that position. And a bit more quality up top, he bought in Adam Hložek for £13.25 million. So reasonable, not that much done in the transfer window, but I think a reasonable set of things done. I should also say that I'm only highlighting the key transfers, so a lot of these people will have done a bunch of youth sort of players going out on loan, or even players from the reserve squad who have been sold. I'm not going to cover those because they would just be here all day. Also say that every single one of the creators will have sold Emre Can for 20 million, I think, and that was done before we even got to the club. So those things I'm not included, but they have happened. So moving on to Old Lady Plays, she has got this slightly more defensive formation than avoiding relegation. Rather than the attacking midfielder, she's gone with a defensive midfielder. In the previous time, she had Pjanic in there as a deep line playmaker, but now she has a new player in there as a register, is it? I don't even know what one of those does. Never played with one. But it looks a fairly solid lineup. You've got to think that maybe it's not going to be quite as creative, perhaps, as some of the other, for example, avoiding relegation with those 4 attacking midfielders. There's no one up centre supporting Dembele that we got here. The support is going to have to come from the wings and perhaps the sort of nice balls through the midfield. Ins, let's go with outs first of all. So Dodo left for 6.5 million. Dodo is a left back that Old Lady Plays bought in last season, and I think that the reason for that is that she's got a reasonable backup in this season. Matuidi has left for centre midfielder, £17.25 million. He's getting on. You can understand that decision, although I think he played very well for her last season. Cuadrado, I think he was playing up a bit, so she decided to get rid of him. £19.25 million. I think some of the creators have found him good. Some of the creators have found him disappointing. I've really enjoyed Cuadrado, but I reckon he's probably not going to get as many games this season. The real surprise for me is Danilo leaving for 66 million. That is a huge loss. I think Danilo is a real star of the club. Certainly for my save. I think a lot of other creators found he got injured quite a lot, so that may be some of the reason behind it. And the big signing or the big sale is Dybala, who has left for 110 million. So I think that's a sensible thing to do, to try and get that money in. And Dybala is a cracking player. So On the ins, she's gone for Kovacic, centre midfielder, for 87 million. He is a world-class midfielder, very, very good player, very good signing. Dembele, I think that's Musa's Dembele, 60 million pounds. I have a feeling one of the other creators signed Dembele in the first season. Can't remember who that was off the top of my head. Castagna, right back, has come in on for 23 million pounds to offer a replacement since Danilo and Cuadrado have left. And the other replacement is Areola has come in, a goalkeeper, for 22 million pounds, who I guess will be sitting on the bench. The thing I should say is that Pellegrini is the left back. She's plucked from the reserves, and so apparently Pellegrini will be doing the business at left back. Not necessarily first choice, but backup for Alexandro. Football Manager Maniac. Again, this is another 4-2-3-1, but this is a more sort of traditional looking formation. Again, Football Manager Mania, he did a lot of signings last season and is going to be doing, has done a reasonable amount this season. So he's really sort of rotating through and getting those older players out of the squad, which I think is very, very important things to do. Let's focus on the outs. Wonderson, who was a player who he bought in last season, has left for £35.5 million, and Sami Khedira has also gone out for £15 million. Sensible move, I think. There's a lot of elderly central midfielders at the club. I think it makes sense to try and get rid of them for what you can, or at least trim them down and replace them with younger players. And he has done this. I think it's Bruno Fernandes that he's brought in for £77 million, central midfielder, who I think will be an excellent signing for him. Tellez, who is a left back, he's bought in for £32.5 million. Again, I think someone else bought Tellez in last season. I can't remember who that was. And some interesting signings. He's two from Manchester City. Sane has joined on loan, so attacking midfielder on loan. And Emerson has come in as a replacement goalkeeper, £61 million. Very interesting signing there, but again, it looks a very, very good set of transfers for Football Manager Maniac. I think, yeah, some interesting changes there. I should also point out that he has had an awful lot of injuries to start with, and that is certainly maybe going to affect him early doors. And finally, myself, I'm sticking with exactly the same kind of weird asymmetric tactic, but very sort of narrow, basically because I felt there wasn't enough wingers at the club. In terms of players who have left, Gigi Buffon has gone on a free transfer. I think he's pretty much left every club now. He's 42 years old, so it made sense. Centre-back, he was Italian, but wasn't going to get a game. Regani has left for 22 million. Higuain is probably the big sale, has left on a player exchange. Who have we bought in on this player exchange, you ask? Well, it is Tammy Abraham, and we've paid, or we will be paying £72 million. It's 36 million up front, a load of add-ons, and Higuain to get Tammy Abraham. I think that's a reasonably good deal. Really, Higuain is a faded force. Tammy Abraham he's a good player in the game, so I think he will do well. James Rodriguez has come in on a free. I think virtually everyone else has signed him, so why not? And I do need more depth in attacking midfielder, so that is good. I bought in Emerson, who is for £10.25 million, who can play both left back and right back. I have no real reason to do that because I have so much depth there, but we've done that anyway. And to give us a little bit more depth at centre back, in fact, this guy is going to do more than give us depth. He's actually a very, very good player. Kahneman, an Argentinian centre back, I think, bought in from Grêmio in Brazil. I think Brazil. Don't know why not Argentina, but those are the players we've bought in. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of the different transfers? Who's done the best business? Who has done the worst business out of the lot? I think the other thing that I haven't mentioned here is for my team is that Ronaldo is out injured, broken his leg, and he's thinking potentially of retiring. That's pretty big news. Okay, let's go and check out what is going to happen in the first set of group games. Game day 1. Let's have a look. So we have a home game for the Juventus team of Old Lady Plays. She is going to be playing Atalanta. Football Manager Maniac, well, his team will be playing Bologna. At home, avoiding relegation is the only team away from home, and his team will be playing Parma. Not an easy game, and my Juventus team will be playing Atalanta. Okay, let's go and see some highlights from this set of games. See you in a second. Oh, wow. Well, some interesting starts that everyone has had. I think the prize for most exciting game has to go to Old Lady Plays, who looked like she had it in the bag and then somehow managed to almost throw it away with a late goal that she basically told Ronaldo to score, and he did. Doesn't work like that with me. She's got some sort of extra sensory control over her players or something. Anyway, Old Lady Plays got a win 3-2 against Atalanta at home. Football Manager Maniac, a solid 2-0 win against Bologna. very comfortable result, avoiding relegation, a worryingly comfortable result away against Parma, which is never an easy game to play. 4-1 victory. And I got maybe a surprising 4-1 win at home against Atalanta. Lots and lots of goals for you guys to feast on there. So here we look at the table. We don't really need to do that, do we? But, might as well. I know what you're thinking. Why is it green and red? No one's actually going to get relegated. There is no good reason for that, but I thought it looked good last time, so I've kept it this time. We're only interested really in who finishes top. So avoiding relegation is top, but only on alphabetical order. Everyone has 3 points, but avoiding relegation has a goal difference of 3. I also have a goal difference of 3, but I only start with a letter C, so that's fairly disappointing. Football Manager Maniac is popping up there with a goal difference of 2 and 3 points, and Old Lady Plays still with 3 points with just a goal difference of 1. Exciting stuff. So that is episode 1 that is the recap of episode 1 in the books. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know, based on what you've seen, who is going to win. Avoiding relegation, very, very popular choice after the way he finished. But has any of those transfers swayed you? Or do you think now that maybe with some of the transfers, maybe that Football Manager Maniac brought in, could he be the man to do this? Or maybe Old Lady Plays, has she done enough to convince you? There's a few people who are after thinking that she might be the one to look out for. Myself, I feel the transfers have gone all right, but obviously Ronaldo's injury is going to be a big problem to deal with. Exciting stuff, and we're going to come back for game day 12 on Sunday. Make sure you watch that. Go over to all of those other creators' channels. As always, their links are all in the description below, so make sure you go and check all those creators out on Sunday. And that'll be enough for me. So I'll say goodbye from me. And if you have enjoyed the episode, please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you are new. Subscribe to all the other creators as well. If you also don't want to miss any of my videos coming out, hit that notification bell. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.